Okay, psychic abilities. Is this person actually psychic, or are they just talking a lot of bollocks? Generally, bollocks. Because there's certain things that has to be done to be psychic. And it is confusing, absolutely, especially when you get all these different messages from lots of different people. How do you know what's truth when you haven't figured out your own truth and you've got stories and, perception in the way? Forest through the trees thing again. Well, number of ways you can tell. Okay, easy question. Ask them, is their higher centers awakened? Because that's the only way you can get psychic powers, or psychic skills or abilities, or visions, because you have to get past your own perspective in your own eyes, which is linked to the solar plexus. Another way to tell, how do they subtle and psychic bodies work? If a person is truly psychic, has these abilities, they will know how it operates, not just for them, but for everybody. Because these things have been researched before. Yoga and Ayurveda has a whole bunch of information on it. They would know. And they'll be able to tell you simple and direct, rather than with a whole lot of fluff. Because there's a lot of fluffy stuff around, let's face it. And another way to tell is, are they full of shit? Straight and direct. There's fire body types, that's what we do. Like, if your partner, especially a fire type boyfriend or partner, if he says, oh, I don't know, that person seems like they're full of shit, guess what? Correct diagnosis. Absolutely, every time. Because they're sharp, they see through it. And, of course, if that person is bloated, then they're full of shit. Subconsciously, their just nervous system has been cut off. So they've disconnected from it. But if they get into their meditation practice, I can guarantee you, after their session with you, they're going to drop. And they're going to blame it on taking your stuff. That's externally blaming. That means it's untrue. No, fits right. The other thing is, if you're going to someone for a psychic reading, surely they should be there to serve you. Not telling you from their stories and their perspective, unless they're sharing to, facilitate your comfort. So they should be asking questions from you. What does this symbol mean? What does this archetype mean to you and your higher self? Rather than them just a mouthpiece. Because generally they're a mouthpiece for their own imbalances. And they have to projectile vomit that. That's not going to help you too much, is it? Not quite. Quite often, and do they look good? Is another question. Do they look good? Because say you're a 25-year-old, spiritual aspirant, and you do good things for yourself. You figured out a few diet changes and some supplements, maybe some exercise and some yoga, and you're going to someone who's bigger and larger and bloated. Guess what? You're the higher vibrational entity. So, you may be paying them for the service, but what's going on behind the scenes, they're taking your energy. In a number of ways. On multi-dimensional levels. As everything has to come through the body. And of course, to be truly psychic, one has to have a subtle body. Because to get onto the subtle bodies, you would have to be aware of that and have a subtle body and align the self and do a few cleanses and have great diet and nutrition. Well, how do I know? I've been on the subtle bodies for 3.5 years now. And I can tell you, it's unbelievable. But the key is we want to get the bottom half of the body onto the subtle bodies. Because that's where all the density is. So if that person has got a big butt, well, guess what? They're a low vibrational entity. It's that easy. They may call themselves a spiritual teacher or guru or whatever, a psychic. We can all make up stories. And most people have yet to clear any of these stories because they're subconsciously unaware that generally they're self-sabotaging themselves on a daily basis. Most people, 80% of the time, and they don't know it, especially if they're drinking coffee. The biggest one. Caffeine, coffee, chocolate, sugar, alcohol, television, are all the biggest social control methods of the Matrix, or society in general, controlling our mind. in some subtle ways, whether it's in the body or if it's through Wi-Fi. They've got to know these things, otherwise they are just simply unable to serve you. So, you may be doing better things than they are, so we might want to have a look at that. Psychic skills and psychic abilities. Oh, by the way, mine's clear cognizance, so I just know stuff. But the key is, like, obviously we use our mind to, we like to know stuff, doesn't everybody? Yeah, fantastic, use that. Study esoterics, study yoga, the depths of yoga and the philosophies. Yeah, there's options for you. Oh, I highly recommend Ayurveda and the 5 element theory. Also, what it does is opens up the ability of the crown to be able to explain and describe everything in the universe using the 5 element theory. Fantastic. See, the key, like knowing everything, I did that for a long time. We don't need to know everything. The key is you have to awaken the higher brain function, where the psychic skills actually are, and then you have access to everything in the universe, all the information, all the wisdom, all those, the beautiful, subtle body feelings of joy, bliss, and ecstasy in the moment. So you don't need to know everything. You just need to have nothing going on in the mind, and then you can get everything when you need it. I tell you, it's an incredibly powerful position, and it's wonderful walking around like this. This is properly of service. So, psychic skills. Hopefully that was helpful, and guess what? You got to earn the vibration. There's no way around it. It's like, if we've got a density about us, well then we need to remove the density. Sweating, Bikram yoga, near-infrared sauna, and heavy metal detoxes are fantastic for that. So, guess what? Earn your own psychic skills, because mate, there's maybe 0.5% of the population. That's generous, I'm going to go for 0.05% of the population who are enlightened and are fully awakened, who can have the possibility of psychic skills and powers. So, hopefully that was helpful. Don't you love clarity?